Welcome to the ASA podcast, where we focus on subcontractors, the construction industry, and the issues and people making an impact. The ASA podcast is brought to you by the American Subcontractors Association and the Foundation of the American Subcontractors Association. Hi, welcome back again to the ASA podcast. I am Mike Klein, your host, and yet again today I am with Mike Oscar, who is here to talk about the makeup of ASA's Government Relations Committee.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, and it's great to be back with you all. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how we came together to officially establish the Government Relations Committee within ASA. Let's just walk back historically for a few minutes to kind of go over where we were and where we are and where we'd like to be moving forward with the GRC committee. So when I came on at roughly about almost 7 years ago now, we had a kind of ad hoc group referred to as the Government Relations Committee, and my predecessor, ran that committee. And when I came in, and this is, I want to be very clear, this is not a criticism, but when I came in, one of the things that I felt lopsided about the committee, and again, we worked very closely with them and through our attorneys council and the work they do, not only on the cases that they take, but also the legal defense fund. But the Government Relations Committee was primarily made up of attorneys. And I went to the board and expressed to them that we really need to shake that up a little bit, because it's really subcontractors that really should make up that committee, because it's a subcontractor as the association, the ASA, American Subcontractors Association, just within our name, we really should have subcontractors driving that agenda. And so we did that, and we worked very hard at it. But let me be clear, I'm not the one working solely doing that work. We have a team of people doing it. And I also want to be clear that as the Government Relations Committee, we advise the board. We're an advisory board. The board, we make decisions, we have discussions, we take it to the board, but the board ultimately makes the final decision of where we're going. So I want to be very crystal clear about that. So number one, to go back for a minute, it's a team. My team is not only myself, but my wife, Shannon, who works not only within the committee, but she also oversees the Attorneys Council, because they do have a seat at the table with the Government Relations Committee. And then we also have Kate Schramm, who helps me. Many of you met her on our fly-ins. She's the one working behind the scenes to make sure everything goes perfectly, not only for the meetings that we're setting up on Capitol Hill, but also ensuring that all the paperwork, all the issue papers, all the information we're going to put out. And if for those of you who walked with us on the halls of Congress, not only is it an intense one-day experience with a lot of meetings, but there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to make that effective. So we had the three of us, and then Kate and Shannon also work on the communications, getting the word out via social media, via podcasts like this, working with you, Mike Klein, and your communications team. It's not that we don't have two separate communications teams, but obviously there's communications driven by the Government Relations Committee, et cetera, and the issues that we're taking. So they do oversee that. But they also work to ensure that things are going out. Like if I make a visit to a state chapter, it's going out, the message is going out, and people find that very effective. Also, Kate oversees what we call our voter voice, which is an opportunity for members not only of the Government Relations Committee, but all ASA membership, if they want to get involved at an advocacy campaign at the federal level or at the state level, dealing with a legislative issue that is important to them, whether it be retainage, like we dealt with in Colorado, Washington, state, et cetera, or prompt payment, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, et cetera, they can use that apparatus as well. So that's the team behind the scenes. But then the committee is led by Courtney Little, former past president of ASA National, an attorney by trade, but also a glazing contractor based in Little Rock, Arkansas. He chairs, along with his co-chair, Gloria Hale, who's a glazing contractor from California. I don't know why they're both glazing contractors, but they were the ones that got nominated. They accepted the nomination. They run our team. And like now, we've built our team up to 96 different members. We went through the process, which was an arduous process, but a necessary process last year to formalize the committee, to formalize how we go about voting in the committee, how we address issues, as well as making recommendations for our political action committee. I inherited a very healthy account for our federal PAC. We have a sizable amount of money in that PAC that we distribute those funds to various members of Congress that we feel are important and relevant on our issues. The members of Congress that we support are bipartisan. What I do is I put basically a slate together of recommendations. I recommend the members that we should support financially. I give a justification, a background, and then an overall recommendation. And then the Government Relations Committee, through the PAC committee, there are 9 voting members of that are members, not only subcontractor members of ASA, the general membership, but also members of our board, members of our attorneys council, and members of the Government Relations Committee. And we did it on 9 because we wanted an odd number in case there was disagreement. And we took the Supreme Court as an example. And then those 9 members, along with the input of the entire committee, we then put a slate together. We make the recommendation, or they make the recommendation. And once the decision is made, then it's handed to me. And then I will go to those events or distribute those checks with Richard Bright and our Political Action Committee Executive Director to send those contributions out. So that's part of the process of who we are, what we're doing. We do meet 4 times a year, 2 virtual meetings and 2 in-person meetings. So we do allow for the overall membership. Our meetings are public. Anyone can come and enjoy the committee or be a part of those discussions. And we've had that happen as long as they follow the rules of engagement for the committee, which 9 times out of 10 they do. But I'm very proud of it. It's been very effective. We have our priorities for 2024 that are up on our website. They also dictate our priorities for our legislative fly-in, and they will be, those priorities will be readdressed when we come into the new year, especially with the new 119th Congress about to be elected in less than, I believe, at this point, 8 weeks. We're that close to the election. So that's the Government Relations Committee. Very proud of it. It's an organic committee, meaning that it's constantly growing. A lot of changes are constantly happening, but we formalized it. It's had a tremendous impact because what I'm told is by the ASA board, almost 2/3 of what we do is advocacy related. So that board or that committee has a pretty big impact, not only at the board, but all of our membership within ASA.
Is there a formal process to join, and are there any specific, is it a 2-year term or a 1-year term, or is it, as you said, it seems more open than that?
There is a formal process for the leadership of the committee, and also a formal process for the PAC contribution aspect of the committee. And I won't get into that because we can, if people have questions about that, I can send those guidelines. But overall, in terms of the membership for the committee, no, we did not finalize necessarily the term. We left that open-ended because we wanted to ensure that all input is included. And we had serious discussions about that when we were putting together the guidelines and the bylaws for the committee, which have been accepted not only by the board and the committee, but by the overall membership vote. And they were approved, I believe, at our annual Sub-Excel earlier this year.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Again, thanks for your time today, and we'll catch up with you again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you for listening to the ASA podcast. For more subcontractor-focused content, visit us at asaonline.com and fastcares.org. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.